June 7th, 2024. Plants are coming along. Got these ones growing from seed. These two are clones. But check it out, this year I got these new products, low stress bend training clips, and they're doing a really good job at shaping the plant and opening it up so it gets better air circulation and light exposure. So I'm really pleased with those so far. I also super cropped a little bit, and this one was a little too aggressive and was like hanging down, so I just put a zip tie around there for structural stability. Just got my other two clones and my other three seedlings. I think I'm going to grow 2 of my 4 clones in my grow tent this summer as opposed to outdoors, because last year I didn't have enough space to harvest all 11 plants. And also it'll give me a little bit of bud to tie me over to when my summer harvest is all done and ready to be smoked. Then these are the seeds. And check it out. And last year I mentioned how topping works, specifically the FIM technique, or FIM, which breaks the top node or the terminal node into 3 heads as opposed to just 2, which is the regular topping technique. But if you do the FIM technique, or the fuck I miss technique, you pinch off a little bit less and it breaks off into 3 heads as opposed to 2. But I think I did an even better job this summer, and I think maybe this is the firm technique, or fuck I really missed, because instead of breaking off into 2 terminal nodes or terminal heads, this one broke off into like 4. See, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's even like 5 and 6. See? June 23rd, 2024, and I got 4 of these 9 plants in their final pots. So the pots that they're going to flower in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I still need to transfer these 5 plants into the 25-gallon fabric pots over there. And I did bring 2 of my clones down to my grow tent, just because if you remember last summer I had 11 plants out here and I could not harvest them all at the same time. I just didn't have enough space, and 2 of them actually weren't good enough to keep. So that's why I'm doing 2 plants in my tent and 9 plants outside this summer. But as I said, these 5 plants are about to go into their 25-gallon fabric pots from last summer. But I was doing some research online, and a bunch of people recommend washing these in vinegar and baking soda first, especially because Fox Farm, the nutrients that I use for my outdoor grow, is salt heavy, which can impede the flush process or the runoff. So that's what I'm about to do. Monday, June 24th, 2024, and I got all of my plants transplanted. Now I'm going to rearrange them later. I just wanted to get them into their final pots today. Wednesday, June 26th, 2024. I did just do some pruning as well as add some plant supports just now, because we are supposed to get a pretty windy storm tonight, and I wanted to make sure my plants were okay. So these are those low stress training clips, and I've been using those to help shape my plants. But look, I tried using the low stress training clips on areas like this, but the branch was way too brittle and it snapped. So I just put a band-aid on it and a little twist tie to help it heal, and it looks like it is bouncing back, so that's good news. And that's kind of like in accidental super cropping, like you hurt the branch a little bit and then it heals back up and like makes a knot, like a scar, and that diverts the growing energy towards other areas of the plant. Summer plants coming along. Got 9 plants out here, 8 different strains. Ghost Train Haze is the only strain that has 2 plants. Just like people, when the plants are young, they're malleable, pliable, you can bend them, shape them without any problems. When they start to get older, just like people, they start to develop more of a rigid structure, they're more stubborn, less pliable, and if you push them too hard, they're going to snap. Younger plants need to be adaptive to their growing environment. Older plants need to support the weight of the bud mass that they're about to put on. You can still bend them and manipulate them a little bit, but you got to do them in a more gradual and gentle way. July 13th. Got a rainy day here. But check it out. This is always cool to me. This happened last summer. And it happened again this summer. After like a rainy day, these mushrooms just like pop up overnight essentially. Doesn't harm the plants or anything, I don't think. Comes from the mulch. Saturday, July 27th, and I got some bad news. One of my plants is a dude. So just like in my grow tent, my last harvest, one of my Ghost Train Hazes was a male. Another Ghost Train Haze plant turned out to be a male. Those are male flowers. Male flowers, unfortunately. Good news is, my other Ghost Train Haze looks like it's a female. So if you look at the top of these sites, these terminal nodes, got little pistils. See? So none of those pollen sacs. So at least we got one female Ghost Train Haze plant. See how they look like calyxes that are like already stacked up, even though it's like pre-flowers? That's how you know that they're males. See, that may look like the beginning of a female flower to the untrained eye, but flowers don't look like that this early unless they're male. So I'll show you. See how you don't have any of those little balls anywhere in a female plant? This one's a better example. See those little white pistils sticking out? That's how you can tell it's a female plant. And as soon as you sex it as a male, unless you're intending on making seeds or have a breeding program, you want to remove it or else it'll pollinate your other plants. And females that have been pollinated switch their focus from making good flowers to making viable seeds. So that's why you want to remove your males as soon as you sex them. July 28th, just to reiterate, I have 9 plants out here and 8 different strains. Last night I found a male plant, but it just so happened that that was the one strain where I had 2 plants, and the other plant is a female, so that works out. Besides that, I know that this one and that one are females because they are clones from female plants. Then I have 2 feminized plants, and then the rest were free seeds, but they just so happen to be female as well. So all things worked out, even though I have one male that I have to remove right now.
And if you could see, there's little white flies. I got some white fly problem, but I have some organic pesticides in the mail, and that should take care of those.
Last night I tried out those natural pesticides that I got on Amazon, but since I put a lot of time and effort into these plants, I only tested out each one on a small area of a plant just to make sure that they didn't have any adverse side effects with my leaves or anything like that. But good news, they look good. I think I like the insecticidal soap a little more than the Mighty Mint insecticide, just because the soap doesn't really have a scent and the mint one definitely does. And I don't want that flavor affecting the flavor of the cannabis in general. So I might go towards that insecticidal soap, but they are both safe for the plants, which is good to know.
So it begins.
What is good? It is August 9th, 2024. This is my third season of growing outdoors in the summer. Look how happy my plants look. This one is already like taller than me right now, and I'm 6'1". It's always crazy to see these things go from a tiny little seed to a plant that is like taller than you are in a matter of 3 to 4 months. I feel like I'm getting better at growing with each consecutive grow, which makes sense. I moved these plants into their larger fabric pots earlier than last summer. I also gave them more soil. I mulched earlier. Also during the veg stage, I trained, shaped, and pruned the plants a lot more than last summer. So I am pretty excited to see the results. And also, I have a better balance of plants. Last summer I had 11, which was a little too much for my abilities and my space. This summer I have 8 plants, 8 different strains, so very excited.
Sorry, I don't have my mic on, but I was trimming my plants, and look at this. Is that crazy? So we just had some like rain and wind come through, and it looks like it's split like the trunk of my plant. But luckily it doesn't look like it killed off that branch, which is amazing. There's the crack, right? And this is the branch, and it's still looking healthy-ish. It's this one, yeah, so it's this one. That's the one that's cracked, and it looks like it's still getting water and nutrients, which is pretty cool. Similar to how arborists cable trees together that look like they're gonna fall apart and split, I added this paracord. It looks like it is keeping the stem at least somewhat intact. To show you the thought process of me trimming my plants when they start to flower, I want to reduce the number of flower sites so I don't have so many popcorn nugs during harvest. So see how this little outcrop is really scrawny, doesn't really reach the canopy. This is going to get blocked out by the other colas and isn't going to produce very high quality buds, and it's just going to take energy away from the plant that would otherwise put it towards the higher buds. So I'm just going to come in here, take that off. Gives the plant a little more breathing room in the middle as well, and just all around beneficial. So anytime I think I see like a shoot that is just going to make insignificant little buds, I just take it out. August 18th, and I'm pretty proud of my plants. It is coming down right now, and none of them look like they're falling over or anything. It's pretty nice to see. I always like to see improvement. There's that one branch right there, but like everything is still pointed upwards. Oh shit, actually
actually. That looks like it could be better. A little bit of branches falling over, but you know what? Still way better than last year. September 3rd, update on my plants. They are well into their flowering stage, and a lot of them are taller than me right now. Some leaf discoloration is normal, especially late into the flowering stage. But let me just show you some observations. Let's see. Do have some PM problems I'm noticing a little bit, but I have a spray that can fix that, so I'm going to try that out after I record this. See? And Ghost Train Haze, out of all of them, is the one that is doing the least well. If you look at it from this angle, how sparse it is. This is a third generation seed, so it could just be the genetics of the seed in general. Let's see, look how sparse it is. But it does have some nice nugs up top. Ghost Train Haze is my favorite strain, so we'll see how this turns out. Apple Betty, this one looks a little straggly, but it is doing well. And then the clones are doing super well. This one is Original Glue. It's almost like a bonsai the way it's trained. See, look at this stem. I even have branches crossing over each other. That one's pretty cool. Pretty proud of that one. Here's Grandmommy Purple and Chiquita Banana Clone. This one is the second clone. How bush-like it is. But I definitely put a concerted effort into making sure none of the branches would fall over this grow. As you can see here, see these strings? I just tied like the opposite big branches together so they would become top heavy and just fall away from the center. Yeah, here's a little bit more of that like PM spots I was talking about. But overall, looking pretty good. September 7th, we just got some rain, which is a good chance to see where the plants are vulnerable to branches falling over. And for the most part, I did a good job at preparing these plants to withstand the weight of the buds, because none of the plants look like they're really falling over after a good rain, which is a really good sign, aside from the Grandmommy Purple, which we'll get to. As you can see, these supports did their job. We don't have many branches like hanging over, which is very nice to see. It means that they'll do well when the plants really start putting on some bud mass. I do need to fix this one plant though. This one looked the strongest, so I kind of neglected it when it came to preparation. And as you can see, some of the branches toppled over, but nothing that can't be fixed with some more string. Alright guys, later that day, and as you can see, I spoke way too soon. Look at this. Oh no. I was doing so well up until this. But hopefully I can rescue mission all of this. We'll see. What is good? It is September 14th, and you know what time it is.
Right there.
So I'm going to start with this Chiquita Banana Clone, which looks like it is the most mature out of all of these 8 plants. I'll show you some close-ups of the nice full nugs that look pretty frosty, especially for an outdoor plant. Then I will give a little bit of a time lapse of me trimming some of these fan leaves off, and then I will chop it down. Alright, got most of the fan leaves off, but check it out. Before I chop it down, I just want to show you how much support I put in this plant throughout its lifetime. Look at, look at all these strings. Is that crazy? Next summer I need to really get an external trellis for the plants. September 15th, and I don't want to jinx it, but we've had pretty nice weather for the past week or so. So no real rain or anything that would compromise the harvest or anything like that. So I want to harvest another plant while it's still nice out. And I'm just trying to figure out which one to harvest. I'm not going to harvest Apple Betty, Z, or Ghost Train, because those look like they are the least mature out of the plants here. So I was thinking about harvesting either the Rukuku OG, is one of my healthiest strains, or Grandmommy Purple, which is the other healthiest strain of this grow. And these are both strains that I paid for. As I mentioned, a bunch of the other seeds were free with a 420 deal. So I just want to make sure that I harvest these two so I get a chance to try them at their best before we get any more rain. And also, the longer they stay out here, the more susceptible they are to developing PM or having some problems with pests. But luckily, I have not seen any caterpillars this season, which was a problem for me in the past 2 or 3 grows. But there was a new pest that I had to deal with this season, which was the Asian lanternfly. But that one just kind of hung out on my plants and didn't really cause any harm, so I didn't really mind them that much. And they were kind of cool looking, but they were an invasive species. Alright, 4 plants down, 4 to go. Just want to show you the remaining plants. This Amnesia lemon actually looks like it has really good quality buds, like nice, thick, dense buds. I am worried about the color of the leaves a little bit, and there's also a bunch of PM spots, you can see like that. So I don't know how the end product is going to turn out, but the buds look pretty decent as they stand now. Z actually took a turn for the worse. It was looking a lot better during its veg stage. Now I see like PM spots everywhere like this. No matter how much fungicide I put on it, they just come back. I think it's just a byproduct of growing outside because you get the dew in the morning and then you also get the precipitation. And then Apple Betty, actually the opposite story of Z. It was actually looking kind of bad, its whole grow, but now the buds are starting to fill out, so that's pretty nice to see. And then check out this plant. No, you are not looking at Grandmommy Purple, despite the color. Look at this. This is Ghost Train Haze. I've said many times before on this channel, this is my favorite strain. I've been growing this for like 3 or 4 years now, but this is the very first time I've ever seen color like this on this strain. Look at that, straight up purple. Really interesting. And it still smells like Ghost Train. You know, it doesn't look as frosty compared to like the Ghost Train grows in the past, but I'm still very curious to see what these buds are like. September 19th, harvest is halfway through. Got 4 more plants to go, and I'm gonna harvest another one right now. And I think I'm going to harvest this Apple Betty right here. Betty. For a couple reasons. First of all, I think this one is the most vulnerable for another rain. What I mean by that, like if we get another rain, I think this one is going to have the most problems standing up compared to the other plants. See, Z doesn't really have a falling over problem. Neither does Amnesia Lemon. And Ghost Train has that trellis I put up. And Apple Betty is just looking very top heavy. And the buds have filled out nicely. And also, since it's an outdoor plant, it doesn't matter if I harvest a little early, because rather that than too late and have it be riddled with pests and PM, you know. Check out this bud. See how it's like kind of falling over and top heavy? So I am going to harvest this one right now.